Hello! Two things for this week. The first one, I really enjoyed going to the tea house and taking a lot of sun-filled pictures last week. So I wanted to continue doing that. And the second thing, I was inspired by a book that I saw at a bookstore. I cannot remember the name of the book and also the photographer, but this photographer photographed the 1967 New York riots. What was so inspiring to me, or shocking to me at first, were all the raw images from the riot. As you can imagine, the images were very disturbing. And with those disturbing images, I felt a lot of emotions. So I wanted to do something similar, show emotions through my photos. Thought of two things. The first thing was to evoke emotions through my photos. While that's an amazing idea to really challenge myself and other photographers too in general, I didn't know how to go about that, especially for someone who focuses a lot on street photography. You can argue that yes, street photography is perfect for that. While that is true, I wanted to take my time a little bit and ease into it. So the second thing I thought of was to capture emotions, whether through facial expressions or just the general ambiance of the place I'm taking photos of. Such a simple picture, but when you really look into it, each person has something red on their head. I might be pushing it a little bit, but I think the pop of red we have in the picture really makes the image stand out a little bit. Had it been a guy with no hat or the woman with no headband, maybe wearing a green hat, and the awning on the right was brown, purple, I don't think that image would be as aesthetically pleasing. Here's a photo I took as a future reference. Early in the morning through the window, you're able to see a part of this grocery store. With the blind half down, I thought this would be a great way to photograph someone doing something without actually revealing their identity. So let's say someone's reaching their hand out to grab an avocado, you get a picture of them doing that or putting in the basket without their face not being in the picture. I've been kind of into the idea of taking pictures of people without actually showing their faces, and I think this would be a great one. This didn't really go the way I wanted it to. On the left, from where I was originally sitting, I could see this woman reading a book with a nice amount of sunlight hitting her face. When I moved to my second spot, I was able to get a somewhat closer picture of her, but the light already moved, and now the focus was on her shoulders. But looking at it now, I wish I was able to take a little bit more time to really focus on her hand and the book, because the main subject here, yes, it is a woman, but what is she doing? She's reading a book. So if I really focused on her hand and the book in the light, this would have been amazing. As you can tell, and also from my last video, the weather in LA isn't that great. And especially if you're out in the rain, chances are you're uncomfortable. Your pants are getting wet, they're sticking onto your legs, the wind is everywhere, your umbrella's slipping. However, because I wanted to capture emotions of the people that I'm taking photos of, I thought this was a really good opportunity. This first picture, sure, you have a lady with a red umbrella, red lanterns hanging, so what? But a few seconds later, I was able to get a glimpse of her face, and the expression here is not that pleasant. And that's what I love. Both of her hands holding onto an umbrella, holding onto her shopping bag, and her face, I wish I could see her eyes, but even the little hint I'm getting here, I'm not a professional, I don't know how to read faces, but the slight opening of her mouth makes me feel like she's out of breath. She's breathing through her mouth because she's exhausted, this wind is too much. I love this. A number of things could have been better. The settings, first of all, too warm. I could have changed it. But besides that, the reflection of the signs on the street, you can see that on his face. So you're not able to get a clear picture of this person. But this is something I've always wanted to photograph. People dining inside and me taking photos from the outside. There are so many photographers that I see on Instagram who do this really well. And I would like to know what the secret is. This is a moment I really wanted to photograph on this day. It would have been better if the person was facing me and I could see their face as their umbrella was being flipped. I took a picture of this wall sometime last year, and I remember saying I would love to have 3 different people, 1 person per light. I wasn't too sure if I was gonna get the picture on this day because it was raining and not a lot of people are outside. You can't really see the person, but there is someone there. Maybe I'll come back here when it's not raining, so I'm able to get a clear silhouette of the person walking under the light.